Today's video is all about the art of zhooshing, how to make any outfit look better, more flattering, and more stylish. Hi, this is Netta. Welcome to my channel. My whole goal for this channel is to help you build a wardrobe and a style that you love so that you look beautiful and feel confident every day. So one of the ways that we feel confident in our clothes is by styling them well. And a lot of times I've noticed that a lot of women feel like we should just be able to throw something on and it should just magically fall onto our bodies in an amazing way. Like it just slips on like it does in a movie, and all of a sudden we're like, oh, I'm beautiful, I look amazing. And it doesn't always work that way. Yes, there are some pieces that are easier to style. Like a dress, for example, is usually, especially a casual dress, can be a throw on and go piece where you throw it on and that's the way it's going to look, like it or not, that's the way it's going to look. But not every piece in your wardrobe is going to be like that, and not every piece in your wardrobe has to be like that to be like stylish and flattering on you. So a lot of clothes need zhooshing. And I almost called this the art of zhooshing, but unfortunately YouTube doesn't really recognize it, zhooshing, as a word, but we all know what zhooshing is. We've all done it to our hair. We've done it to our, mantle, or when we're accessorizing our house, and we've done it to our clothes. And so most clothes require a little bit of zhooshing to help them look their best. And they require styling, and they require like a little tie, a little tuck, a little ruching, whatever, to look flattering and look beautiful. So I'm going to give you just some pointers on the art of zhooshing. But first, I want to preface this by saying that one of the things I've noticed overwhelmingly with clients and with women in my private Facebook group, which by the way is linked below if you haven't joined, it's the happiest place to be on Facebook. But the women that share pictures in that group and my clients, sometimes we as women can be really, really hard on ourselves. And I have noticed, not always, but that often when we don't like something, that's because we've approached it with negative attitude about ourselves and some negative self-talk. We've all done this. And, when you put something on and you turn around and face a mirror and you're already like, I know I'm not going to like this. I'm sure it's going to look awful on me because I put on some weight, or because I don't look like I used to look, or because my hair is funny, or my stomach is bloated today, whatever. Like whatever reason it is that you woke up that day, or you feel that day, that week, that month, that year, sadly for some of us, like you're not at your best, and you put something on and you look at that expression, or that reflection in the mirror with an expression of judgment. And we don't treat each other that way. At least I hope we don't. You wouldn't look that way at your sister or your mom or your best friend trying something on in a dressing room mirror. Instead, you turn that judgmental eye only on yourself, and you look at yourself harshly, and you judge the outfit before you've really had a chance to give it a chance and to see if it's going to work for you. So my first and a little bit more philosophical tip is to be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. When you look at something, your reflection in the mirror, when you look at something new that you've just tried on, be kind to yourself. Look at yourself the way you would look at someone that you love. And hopefully you love yourself. That is, my goal for everything I do here is to help you build your confidence in your style. And I really think that some of that self-love can come from the way that we put ourselves together, and the self-care that is associated with that. So, off my soapbox, but I just wanted to share, give stuff a chance. Don't automatically flatly reject it before doing a little bit of zhooshing. Okay, now let's get down to the zhooshing. The first aspect of zhooshing I want to talk about is, the first tip is not to pull your knit shirts all the way down. A lot of times women will put on a shirt in a fine knit like this is a tee, it's a very fine knit, and they will take it and they will pull it all the way down like tight. That's the way they show it in some of the catalogs that are aimed at women over 50. And when you're over 40 or over 50, that's the last time that you want to be taking a fitted or knit or flimsy material shirt and pulling it all the way down so you can see every lump and bump. You're going to see your hips, you're going to see your hip dip. If you have a hip dip, you're going to see your belly, you're going to see your back fat, you're going to see all of that stuff if you pull a fine knit shirt like this all the way down. Instead, zhuzh it up. Zhuzh it up, ruche it a little, gather it a little, give it a little bit of volume around that all-important waist, belly, back fat circumference area that we have, and just zhuzh it up so that it's more flattering. Not only is that more flattering and is it more forgiving, but it also looks better. Like I can't tell you how many times I've been in a dressing room with a client and they put on a knit top and they yank it all the way down and they say, this doesn't look good. Well, that doesn't look good on anybody. That's not the way the top is supposed to be worn. It's supposed to be zhuzhed up. So do yourself and your body a favor, zhuzh your tops a little bit in the areas where you could use a little bit more forgiveness. Like I said, it's not just for flattery, it's also the way that these tops are designed to be worn, and they're going to look more stylish that way. Okay, the next thing is to roll up your sleeves. I've talked about this so much of the time. Now, obviously, if you're in a blizzard condition or you're cold, you're going to want to wear your sleeves down. But if it's, in between and it's temperate out and you put something on, especially something with really full sleeves, something with a lot of volume, or like either the sleeves are full or the outfit itself is full and you're like, I feel like this is close, but it's not working. Try rolling up or pulling up your sleeves. Often just showing this part of your arm is enough to take an outfit from being a little overwhelming, a little baggy, a little boxy on you and make it much more flattering. So rolling up your sleeves, zhuzhing up your sleeves is always going to be an option. Now, there is, I'm going to show you a couple of ways to roll up your sleeves. Now, if you're rolling up a button-down shirt, one of the neatest ways to roll it so that it looks polished and it looks like a stylist is to make sure that the cuff of the sleeve of the shirt is exposed. So you're going to roll it up and roll it back down so that the cuff is on the outside. And I'm going to show you what that looks like right here. Now, another tip for rolling your sleeves is, and I'm sure you've heard this before, is to use a hair tie. You can use the little thin silk scrunchies, or you can use just a hair elastic to hold your sleeves up when you roll them up. This may or may not be comfortable for you. If it's not comfortable for you, obviously you're not going to do it. But if it is, it's a nice way to keep your sleeves up so you don't have to keep zhuzhing them up all day long. But pulling your sleeves up, whether you're wearing a blazer, whether you're wearing a sweater, or a long sleeve top, can be a great way to add flattery and style to your outfits. Okay, the next suggestion I have, the next styling tip I have, is to unbutton a few buttons. Now, often I'll hear from women who say, I don't do button down shirts really well. They look so corporate and stuffy on me. I absolutely felt the same way, because I always thought of a button up shirt as a shirt that's like you button it all the way up to here and you wear it with black trousers and it's very business casual or very corporate looking. And a button-down shirt does not need to be that way. And this, for many women, is going to be one of our more flattering areas. Now, if you still like this part of your body, if you still are happy with your neck and your décolleté area, your chest area, your collarbone, this whole beautiful feminine area, if you still love the way that looks, you absolutely should show it off in a button-down shirt. So unbutton usually one more button than you think you need to unbutton. Often, and you might want to cheat and add like a little Velcro square or a little snap on the inside so that you don't risk overexposure. But often it's that unbuttoned and open with a couple of delicate necklaces. That look is beautiful and flattering and very, very feminine, and can take a shirt that is traditional, that is essentially a men's shirt made for a woman, and make it a lot more feminine and a lot more flattering. Again, when we show parts of our body strategically, when we decide where the eye is going to look, when we decide what to show, we make our outfits more flattering. So whether it's showing this neckline area, whether it's showing your arm, whether it's showing some leg, balancing your outfits by strategically exposing small amounts of skin is going to really overall balance your look a lot more and make you look more flattered in your outfits and also more stylish. So if you look at, like, I posted this Cezanne picture in the Facebook group a couple weeks ago when we were talking about contemporary versus not contemporary, and this is unbuttoned a little bit more than some of you may be comfortable with, but you will see most of the contemporary brands showing button-up shirts like this because it's so feminine and it's such a chic way to wear a button-down shirt. So consider unbuttoning a few buttons. Okay, the next style tip, the next zhooshing tip that I have is to cinch the waist. Now, there are ways to define your waist without belting. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy about belting and about tucking, and I've done videos on both of these, so I will link them below. But in this case, I'm talking about drawing the waistline in more subtle ways. So one of the ways that you can cinch the waist is to wear, especially if you're wearing a flowy dress, is to wear a jacket that hits at the waist. So a crop jacket, and they're everywhere this season, a crop denim jacket is actually a really big key thing for spring that you can look at. But a jacket that comes to your high waist or to your natural waist will just subtly nip in your waist and keep a flowy dress from being unflattering and overwhelming. Another way to do this is to take, like, a utility style jacket or any jacket that's got that belt detail, that cinched waist detail in it, and actually cinch the waist of that jacket. So when you layer it on over something, you've got a little waist definition built in to that piece. So cinching the waist or defining your waist in subtle ways like that can be a really, really flattering strategy, especially for those of you who are not comfortable tucking or belting. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is to tie a knot. Now, often we see, women pairing midi skirts and t-shirts, and you're like, oh, like, that's so hard to wear. My t-shirts are long, midi skirts are long, and you're putting long over long, or you're putting loose over loose. And yes, that's definitely a hard look to pull off when you're looking at it that way, until you zhoosh the items. So tucking is obviously one way of pairing a tee with a midi skirt, for example, and making it a little bit more flattering, but it's not the only way, and it's not always going to be the most flattering way. Like, if you've got a little extra around your belly, maybe you don't want to tuck there. And so instead, I would consider tying a knot. Now, you can tie a knot on the side, you can tie a knot in the front, you can experiment with a couple of different ties, and it's a really flattering way to define your waistline and control where you want the eye to go and where you want the hem of your shirt to land. So you can use a hair tie. I love using a hair tie to do this because it does keep the knot in place, or you can just knot the fabric if that works just as easily for you as well. But when I use a hair tie, I will knot it in the front and I'll tuck it under, or knot it on the sides and tuck it under on the sides. It gives this nice, slightly cropped silhouette to the shirt. Works very, very well. You can also tie the knot on the back and tuck that under. That will work as well. I really like the side tuck, but try, or the side ties, but try both of them. And then, of course, if you're going to just tie it without a hair tie and not tuck it under, you can do that in the front as well. And it just gives you an option and a different way to style two pieces that you might be challenged to wear together. This also works very, very well with long baggy sweaters. If you don't want to do a front tuck or a side tuck on your long baggy sweater, consider tying those knots on the side and tucking it under so that the sweater is not as long and not as baggy. It's just an easy and effective strategy to making something that you that's potentially going to swallow you up, make it look a lot more flattering. Another thing I like to do is I like to tie a knot in the front of button-down shirts. Obviously, that is, something we've all been doing for a really long time, but I'm going to share this little strategy here where you can tuck the button-down. Rather than tying the knot in the front, you can tuck the ends of the corners of the shirt through the space between the buttons and create a really nice, clean line with your button-down shirt that way. So it's a nice knot that's not as bulky and doesn't add as much volume to the front of your, your tummy area, which obviously is something we don't want to add a lot of volume there, but it's just a nice way and a simple way to tie a knot. I've already shared this on my Instagram stories. It got a lot of love, so I wanted to share that strategy with you. But knotting, whether you're tying a knot, whether you're tucking through the buttonholes, or whether you're using an elastic band to pull that off, is a great way to add interest to your waist, to cinch your waist in a little, and to make potentially baggy and unflattering items look a lot more stylish. Now, the last styling and zhooshing tip that I want to share for today is related to that tying a knot, but it's about tying a knot in the back. So I've often shared that one of the ways to make a long layering piece look a lot more flattering is to layer that long layering piece over something with a defined waist. If I put a long cardigan on over a long dress, it's going to be a long straight dress, it's going to be a lot harder for me to pull that off than if I put the long cardigan on over a dress with a definite belt detail that defines the waist. So keeping that in mind, it's the same philosophy when I tried this trench on over my long black slip dress. Now, the slip dress on its own is very, very flattering, but it does not have a defined waistline. And so when I put this trench on, I kind of felt like there was just, on my petite frame, there was just too much volume. It was too much going on. And so I knotted this trench in the back. Rather than knotting it around the front and, tying the belt in the front, I tied a bow on the back of the trench that tightened the trench on the sides a little, eliminated some of the volume in the coat on either side, and made it a lot more flattering. So in general, a long layer is going to look better over something with waist definition. But when you tie that knot in the back and you remove some of the volume from the sides of that layering piece, you can do this with a cardigan that's got a belt. You can do it with a long blazer. You can do it with a trench of your own or a coat of your own. Knotting it in the back will reduce the amount of volume that you have on either side, and it will give you a little bit more definition in the waist area and just be a more flattering look overall. So zhooshing, your clothes need to be zhooshed. They need to be loved on, just like we all need to be loved on. We can't expect to just put everything on and automatically have it work. I, like you, have challenges when it comes to styling my unique body, my ever-changing tummy dimensions, my petite frame and height. And so we all are in this together. We're all going to experiment with different ways of styling our clothes so that they look the best that they can look on us and that we can find the most flattering looks. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that I've encouraged you to zhoosh, to play, to experiment, to start working with your clothes and not just accept them at face value, not to just put them on and expect them to just wow you the first second you put them on. Play with them, see if you can make them work for you, and try different ways to wear the things that you already have in your wardrobe. If you like this kind of video and would like to see more styling videos, let me know by hitting the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. That red subscribe button is the best place to be on YouTube. We have the best community, and I'd love to have you join us. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. It lets you know when I upload new videos every Tuesday and every Friday. And comment below. Let me know which of these styling tips you found the most useful and what zhooshing techniques you use in your own wardrobe to get your clothes to look and feel their best. Love you. I will see you in the next video.